Howdy y'all, JR Gamer here with another video just for you. If this is your first time here and you're looking for a relaxing space to evaluate gameplay, inspiration for your own projects, or a dose of daily awful dad jokes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel right now. And while you're at it, click on the bell to get notified when I upload more videos. Howdy y'all, it's JR Gamer with another video for you for Planet Zoo. Here we are again. Today we're going to talk all about turtles, all about tortoises. Tortoise? Anyway, we're going to talk about tortoises because unfortunately my original Galapagos tortoises that I put in the peacock or the small animal habitat were doing really bad, and so I decided that I was going to build a whole enclosure for themselves. But before I could get the enclosure done, I didn't want them to die, so I sold them off. I sent them into the wild, and so I started building this enclosure just for the tortoises, just because I didn't they weren't doing very well in the other habitat. So then I bought one Aldambra tortoise, and put them in the habitat, and the same thing was happening. So I decided, you know what, let's just build a whole new enclosure just for them, or just for him in this case, because it's just one. And so that's what I did. I've built this small enclosure over here, just for him, just opposite the small exhibit, which I'm gonna change from the small animal habitat to just the peacock habitat, the Indian peacock habitat, since it's gonna have is Indian peacocks. One of the things that I noticed when I was with both the Galapagos and the Alhambra tortoises was they kept telling me that there was not enough hardcover. And I built all of these different structures and there was still not enough. The highest it ever got to was like 20%, and it wasn't enough. So I figured if I created something like this that covered the entire back of the enclosure, it would be enough. So I'm gonna go find, there he is, Chimbo. That's the name of the tortoise, Chimbo, and I'm saying tortoise pretty well. So they're gonna bring Chimbo over, so that I can see if see what his measurements are. And again, hardcover at 0, and he's got that huge thing in the back. So ultimately I decided that I'm going to create something different. So I'm gonna close it up, because one of the things that I realized is people can't give them some privacy is what I was trying to do. Maybe that'll change things. And nope, there's no hard shelter. So what to do? I needed to put down some enrichment items. It seems that I was wrong, that's only for the lemurs and for the peacocks, so that's not an enrichment item for the Alhambra. So I put down a beach ball, and I put down a food enrichment item, and I put down a food ball for Chimbo, and I also put down a sprinkler for him, and he goes straight for the sprinkler, because it is a very hot climate right there in the savannah. Here I'm gonna definitely destroy the hard shelter and see if there is something else that I can build for him that he will be okay with. I try one of the made shelters, the blueprint shelters, and it doesn't work. So I'm gonna try some rocks. Maybe we can do a rock shelter for Chimbo, and make it a more natural shelter for him rather than a man-made shelter, although it's man-made based on rocks. But I'm gonna try some rocks and put those down, and see how that works in terms of him having some kind of shelter. This is gonna be a pretty quick video, just so you know. It's all about the tortoises. It's all about Chimbo, just because I had a good time trying to put together this shelter for him. I put him inside, but it didn't work. I brought him back to the beginning over here and played with the ball for a little while, but again, no heart shelter. Now, one of the things that I noticed, which I don't, it's been reported several times, is this bug. So I took out all the heart. Oh, I forgot. I also put this part right here. I took out the heart shelter over at the peacock exhibit, or the peacock habitat, and put in a different, more suitable shelter for the peacocks. They weren't so picky as Chimbo's being picky. So I just created something that kind of more fell through or was within the theme of that habitat. Similar to the one that's at the entrance on the other side, just because we had a whole bunch of juvenile peacocks in there, and they needed a lot of shelter themselves. So I was just trying to have those juveniles grow so that I can put them on the trade center and get some conservation credits from the trade center. So I was just giving them some time to grow, but they needed a lot more shelter because there were a lot more peacocks in there. And so that's one of the things that I focused on while I was thinking about what I was going to do with Chimbo over there, and figure out what kind of shelter I was going to build for him, since he doesn't seem to like any of the shelters. And somehow the grid, and again, one of these beta issues again, the grid is kind of messed up. It had all of my pieces floating, despite the fact that the pieces were on the grid. So I slowly but surely brought them all down so that they were all level at the same ground level, but it just kept I don't know, it was just something weird with the grid. Something that I'm hoping that gets fixed, since this is beta. So hopefully that'll get fixed, and won't have to deal with that. But yeah, I mean, there were some pretty interesting issues with the grid, but that took care of the shelter for them. So here I'm going back to Chimbo. Nope, no, that's not enough. So I'm deleting all the rocks. Let's build a shelter similar to the one over here on that I built for the peacocks, but with a different take. I was gonna use planks, just because, just to make it different, I guess. So I'm gonna use some planks, something simple, doesn't cost a lot, even though we have $22,000, but that's based on a loan that I took. And so I just created something simple for Chimbo, and now I'm trying to get some food to him. And this is the glitch I was talking about. I would ask for food from one of the zookeepers, and the zookeeper would come in and stand there for a little while and then walk out. And I'm like, well, okay. So I would ask for food again, and it would reset, and it would continue resetting, and it would continue resetting. So I took a video of it for about 8 minutes, and I sent it off to Frontier, so hopefully they can fix that issue or that bug with the keepers, because my animals, not all of them, but at least Chimbo was starving because of that fact. And so I was, I'm hoping that they fix that bug quickly. Here I'm trying to set a keeper hut in the back. Trying to figure out how I want it. If I wanted it close to the enclosure. Basically, this keeper hut would take care of several enclosures that I wanted to put on this side of the zoo. Not all of them, but I think I was thinking about maybe three or four enclosures is what I was thinking about that the keeper would take care of. So that's kind of what I was thinking in terms of what I wanted the keeper to do. Here I'm trying to do my best to create a square, which I was not very successful in doing a straight line. I redid it, and I just wanted to create a corner for the habitat shelter for Chimbo. and then make it so that it was a it would fall in line with the grid of the keeper hut that I wanted to put down. That was kind of the idea. The other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to make the inside of the shelter a null fence, so it would not be a regular type fence, but it would be one of those null fences, so that it looked like, you know, the back of the shelter didn't have a fence inside it, but it would keep Chimbo inside. So that was kind of the idea. And then I wanted to raise it high enough so that the people in the front wouldn't be, you know, would catch a glimpse of the back part, but it would not bother them that it was there, because, you know, although it's a circle of influence, it's not based on line of sight. You know, for realistic purposes, you know, you can see the back of the you know, all the backstage part of it most of the time, especially in the smaller exhibits. You can see it, but you can get a glimpse of it, and the whole idea is to hide it behind stuff, and that's basically what I'm going to try and do, is hide any backstage, you know, whether it's with a habitat fence or with the actual shelter, that kind of stuff. So I was trying to see if I wanted to place it near or right next to the shelter or to the habitat, and make it, you know, make it look like part of the habitat. I didn't really like the way it looked. I tried it a couple times. It just I don't know, it just didn't feel, because the idea was, I started thinking that, you know, I want to build more over here on the right hand side, so the keeper hut should take care of everything in that area rather than just the tortoise habitat for Chimbo. So I move it back a little, you know, so that I can create a path in between. And again, it's just gonna be a very simple, it's gonna go out and continue with the theme of Chimbo's habitat, and use planks as the walls. So because A, they're not very expensive, and B, it's, you know, very simple design, nothing fancy, just something that would be aesthetically pleasing and different, and it would, you know, it would look good. And that's what I was trying to do, and just putting some eaves on the roof there. But that was kind of the idea. It was about taking care of Chimbo. Going back to that glitch, like I said, I created about 8 minutes of it, and I sent it off, but I turned off the game, and it didn't reset. So, excuse me. I figured it must have been, I wanted to find out whether it was the keeper hut, and you'll see here later on in the video that I deleted the keeper hut completely, just because it was glitching. The whole thing was glitching. I mean, not the keeper hut, but the keeper was glitching it, and Chimbo was dying on me, so I sent him into quarantine to have the vet fix him up while I tried to solve this whole keeper issue. So ultimately, I end up putting the keeper hut back in, and now it doesn't glitch. And that's the other thing right there. If you look at the grid changed. I didn't change it. In the process of moving the keeper hut, the grid changed to, I guess that's what, 4 meters. It's a 1 meter grid now, or half a meter grid. Anyway, that kind of screwed everything up, because everything was glitching. Again, it's a beta. I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing out some of the glitches, some of the issues that I had trying to build this habitat. You know, I understand it's a beta and it's not a complaint. I just, it was kind of strange, and it's something that I pointed out to Frontier, and hopefully it'll be taken care of in the game. See, it glitched again. Now it's a full 4 meter grid, and so, excuse me, so I couldn't place the pump correctly. So ultimately I get rid of the pump. I wanted to create a lot more water features on that, in that area. This, you know, this was future thinking. But you know, as I saw that things were glitching and it didn't really look good, I want to get rid of that tree because again, it's glitching right through the path. If you can see the path going in there, it didn't create an obstruction. It just, you know, it glitched the tree right in it. So I just kind of decided, you know what, let's just I tried moving it. Again, it wasn't sitting on the grid because it had been built on that quarter grid. So it was glitching pretty bad, so I just kind of deleted the whole thing, just kept the keeper house for now on that quarter grid and deleted everything else. So again, you know, I just wanted some simple stuff just because I wasn't making a lot of money. I'm down to $16,000 and I was actually losing money along the way, and I didn't want to go bankrupt. So I just created some very simple, inexpensive back end or backstage housing. Here I put down a staff housing just because all the staff on this side, I didn't want them to have to go all the way to the other side of the zoo. They have their own staff area over here. Again, keeping within the theme of the planks, very simple, very the metal roofs, the wood eaves on either side, just kind of the same aesthetic as the keeper hut. And if you look at this, the staff is sitting on the 4x4 grid, and the keeper hut is sitting on the quarter grid. And so I think that's where the glitch happened. I think that's why the glitch happened, is because, as you can see, the keeper hut's not connected to the path. And I didn't notice that until I started doing the video. And if you look, it's going to give you kind of a glimpse. I got Boomy. Is that her name? I think that's Boomy. Yeah, her name's Boomy, for Chimbo. And Boomy and Chimbo had a baby. And ultimately, I had my first family. Here, as you can see, I took out the keeper, but I still had that glitch. Although him and Boomy finally got some food from the keeper, and I was very happy with that. After I deleted the keeper hut in the back and got rid of that quarter grid over there, but we had our first family in the zoo. Although we did have some peacocks born. I didn't consider them a first family. Chimbo is the star attraction right now, besides the lemurs of the zoo. So I think they are the first family. The lemurs have not bred, so I don't know what I'm gonna have to do to have them breed. I've already researched the whole thing, so hopefully they'll breed sometime soon. I would like to have some lemurs breed, that I can get some conservation points so I can continue this. The vision I have for the zoo, at least until the end of the beta. Here I put down the keeper hut again, this time on the 4x4 grid, so I'm hoping it doesn't glitch out. I put down a storage area in between both of those for now, and it's just because the idea is I still need some water features on that area. And so for right now, that's where the water tank or the water purification thing is going to go, is right there in the middle. But for now, I didn't put it down yet until I start building the water features that I want. But that's the idea, is that the water tank or the water purification is going to go right there in between both of those things. I put down some pavement, just to for aesthetics. But by that time I had doubled my money, so I could spend a little bit more money, but I didn't want to stay. I didn't want to get away from the theme that I had for that particular area, which was the planks, kind of very I mean, the word is cheap. That the planks looks good, but it looks cheap. It looks like it was built frugally by the zoo, and that was the whole idea. That was the whole point of that build, and why I wanted to do it that way. So so we're getting here close to the end. This is all about Chimbo. It's all about my first family, and hopefully after this we can start building a little bit more into the zoo. I'm hoping that we can get rid of some of those glitches, and thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really do appreciate the time that you guys spend watching these videos. Hopefully if you really like the video, just click the like button on the bottom, or and then subscribe. Like I said, the first 100 subscribers are going to get a habitat sponsored by the subscriber, so they'll have a habitat named after them. So I do appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Adios.
Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like the content, click the like button below. Remember, if you're looking for a relaxing space to evaluate gameplay, inspiration for your own projects, or a dose of daily awful dad jokes, subscribe to the channel right now and click on the bell to get notified when I upload more videos. Until next time, adios.